technology. We're going to have Steve come on in a few moments and talk about the cool things that they're doing over at Choice. But let me introduce you first to our webinar series here at Ulistic. We do these webinars once or twice a month, helping our clients and those in the MSP community, get some real good advice on how to build their business, what technologies are available to help them serve their clients better, and ultimately help you achieve stratospheric success. That's our goal at Ulistic, is help every MSP achieve stratospheric success. To learn more about what we're doing, you can go hop over to ulistic.com after the webinar, and talk to us about our web marketing services, our outsourced marketing services, and all the other things that we do to help MSPs, again, achieve stratospheric success. And we're going to welcome the folks over at Choice Technology. We have Steve and his team on the line today. And before we get Steve on, just quick housekeeping for those new to GoToWebinar. If you have any questions for Steve during the webinar, he will address them all at the end. And you can use the question pane located on the GoToWebinar control panel, and we can queue up your questions there, and we'll get them over to Steve. We also have an international audience on today. We have people on from the United States, Canada, and all over Australia, the UK. So we have a worldwide audience on with us today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to my good friend Steve over at Choice Technology. He's going to come and talk to us about, what's changing in the market and what he has done over at Choice to help him remain competitive in a changing market here in the MSP community. Welcome, Steve, and the show is all yours, sir.
Great. Thank you very much, Stuart. Today we're going to talk about how to make money with security and compliance. And my name is Steve Rutkovitz. I'm CEO of Choice Technologies. And next month in January, we'll be celebrating our 20th year in business. It seemed like just yesterday I started the company in 1995, but it's already 20 years, so it's pretty exciting. We focus in three areas: security and compliance, managed services, and consulting. I speak nationally to other MSPs, and I've over the years, and I've been an advisor to a number of MSPs and really enjoy that. It's kind of like a hobby. So we've developed and innovated a structured security and compliance offering, which we'll be telling you more about today. And I would call myself a visionary in the industry. And about 2 years ago, I saw that security and compliance was going to be big. And we started developing the program about 2 years ago, which I'll tell you more about today. But I think it's a huge opportunity. It's very exciting and can help everybody out there make money with offering security and compliance services. So just a little history of Choice Technologies. Again, we started back in 1995, probably like many of you started, kind of doing break fix, doing IT work in kind of a reactive mode. Built one client at a time. I started with just myself and built one client and two clients. Then we started introducing around 2000 when HIPAA just started out and medical billing was going from kind of paper billing to automated billing. HIPAA came out and we started learning about security and how important security is. So we kind of kept learning more and more about security. It's actually around 15 years ago. Around 2007, we morphed more into the managed services space. We heard about managed services, started learning that industry, and really that was a big game changer for us because we went from kind of reactive to proactive, built that recurring revenue model, and really haven't looked back. And I like the managed services business because it kind of aligns our clients with and aligns what we need. So the predictable budgeting that our clients now have to be able to budget, and it's proactive services to keep them up and running, and it helps us predict and budget for our payroll and our overheads and how we do business as well. So we really like the managed services business, and we like being proactive. Around 2009, we got heavier into security, and we started hearing about compliances where customers like in financial or medical were getting audits and asking more and more issues about compliance and are there fines and whatnot. So we started learning more about compliance services. In 2012, we actually started delivering a managed security service. What we did was we took everything we learned in managed services about reactive to proactive and kind of parlayed that into our managed security offering, which I'll tell you more about today. And today, in 2014, we have a new channel partner program that we're starting to roll out where you can make it easy for you to offer security and compliance services in a really high margin environment. So where is the MSP today, and where's the future of the MSP? I'm going to tell you kind of what we're seeing. I'm not sure if you're seeing it yet, but I'm sure we're in similar parallel worlds. We're seeing an absolute reduction of servers. So we're doing less and less servers. I mean, we were doing, a ton of Exchange servers, SQL servers, $25,000 servers. Today we're doing more than Microsoft Office 365. Instead of a $35,000 server, we're seeing a $7,000 to $10,000 consulting project and a $400 or $500 recurring monthly revenue stream around Office 365. With your initial month at 12% and 4% after, I mean, Microsoft is basically paying us, nickels. So we are seeing a reduction of servers, and I do see things changing, and I'm not so sure that the toothpaste is going back in the tube. We see a reduction of infrastructure. We used to sell all the infrastructure, the servers, the workstations. We still do some of that, but, customers are going to Best Buy and picking up, iPads and ask us to hook them up. It's more of a services. They're buying their iPhones from Verizon Direct, so we're doing the services there as well. But again, it's more around services and less around hardware and software. So what we're really seeing today, and I think you're going to see over the next 4 to 5 years, it's kind of a hybrid world where some things will be in-house and some things will be in the cloud, and it's up to us as a trusted advisor to make those recommendations. We're seeing increased competition. So, for a long time, it was just a lot of referrals. We didn't do a lot of marketing. We got lots of new clients just by doing a good job and getting referrals. We currently have about 300 clients in the Maryland, D.C., Northern Virginia area. And, we just kind of grew a few clients at a time. In the last year, we've seen less referrals. When we do get referrals, we've seen more competition in the marketplace. And we believe our MSP offering is much better than the competition's, but I think our customers are having a hard time seeing the difference. So we knew we had to change our approach. We're seeing a commoditization, so lower profit margins in the regular MSP space. So, the question is, how are you going to stay relevant going forward? I personally see a lot of huge opportunities. I think we're going to have to let go of some of the things we're doing in the past and move to the future, which has changed, but I think there's a lot of good opportunities. But I'm going to show you today how we're staying relevant and how we can help you. So here's strategies that we're doing actually to stay relevant and grow our business. The first thing is you really have to be forward thinking. And I'm always looking 1, 2, 3, 4 years in the future and try to kind of intercept kind of the future and see how things are going. The first thing we're doing is we're working on increasing revenue per client. So I'll explain to you more how we do the increased revenue per client, but the way we're doing it is we're weaving in security and compliance into road mapping, and as we move in, we have our conversations either quarterly or annually with our clients. We're talking about managed services, but we're really leading and upselling security and compliance. New clients, this is a really big area that we've been focusing on, and I think we've really cracked the code. It's working phenomenally well, and we can share it with you, but we are leading new opportunities with security and compliance front and center. So if another MSP comes in and tries to compete, and you're leading with security and compliance and really understand that marketplace and leading with it, it really differentiates you as a company, and it leaves that competition in the dust. So we were having some problems kind of getting new clients, and all of a sudden we started leading with security and compliance, and we've actually been on a roll over the last number of months. So it's pretty exciting, and right now that is really the competitive edge for us. We've also identified a really interesting market, and that's going upstream. So, we've always been catering to small to medium-sized business. Our clients average from 10 users up to about maybe 75 users. And that's kind of the norm. We have a few clients that have over 100 users, but I would say that's the exception to the rule. What we're finding is larger clients, 100 to 400 users, do not have a structured security and compliance solution in place. So as I'm talking to larger companies with CIOs, and I probably had 6 meetings in the last couple of months, I would say none of them have a structured security and compliance and are looking for help to try to get their company up to par as far as compliance and security. So there's a huge opportunity going upstream to larger clients. I mean, really large clients might have a CISO, but most companies are either have a 1 or 2 or 3 IT people or a CIO but haven't been trained or really knowledgeable in security and compliance. So where's the marketplace and where's it going? I mean, one of the fastest, highest growth markets in the next number of 5 or so years is going to be security. So by 2019, it's estimated to reach $155 billion, and that's a lot of money. So you want to get your share of that. And also the compliance industry is growing, but not as fast, but it's growing at like 25% a year. So compliance is also growing. And people say to me all the time, isn't security and compliance the same thing? And the answer is no. And probably the best analogy I ever heard that compares security to compliance is a motorcycle. So you're probably thinking to yourself, how's a motorcycle security compliance? In the state of Maryland, in order to ride a motorcycle, you have to have a helmet. That's all it says. If you ride a motorcycle, you have to have a helmet on your head. You could have no shirt, you could have a pair of gym shorts and no shoes, but as long as you have a helmet, you're compliant. But I can tell you, if you're riding down the highway at 60 miles an hour, you're going to want to have, a pair of boots to protect your feet, maybe a pair of pants that are padded, leather, in case you do have a spill, and you want to have kind of a leather jacket with padding, because if something happens, you want to be protected. But again, to be compliant, all you need is a helmet. But to be secure, you want to spend a little extra money on that to make sure you're protected. So I think near term, in the short term, security is a huge potential. I think intermediate, it's a good potential. I think long term, it's going to be great. So I think it's going to take some time to really come up to speed on security and compliance. But I think a lot of these technologies will come and go. But I think security is going to be here for a number of years. Okay, so it isn't a day goes by that you don't hear about, just breach galore. I mean, everywhere you read, every newspaper, every advertisement, every news media, it's about breaches, breaches, breaches. So between the U.S. government helping to do our marketing with HIPAA and the news media with Target and P.F. Chang's and all these different breaches, I mean, it's really like the media is doing the marketing, U.S. government's doing the marketing for us. So the key here is now capitalize on it. All right, so the threat's real. I mean, you can see here that it's just, it's causing a big impact to businesses, and businesses are really concerned about it. Businesses are asking about security and compliance, so we should be there to actually provide these services. All right, so where is security today? Security today is what I would call security 1.0. Most of the companies that we see out there that aren't our clients are kind of still in that reactive mode. Everybody has a firewall. Everybody has a virus scanning system or software, usually has some kind of separate malware software running, and they have basic patch management. And I will tell you that 90% of the businesses that I see out there that are not our clients, that's where they are today. And I talk to a lot of resellers across the country, and most of their clients are also there. So we'll call that security 1.0. And if you look at the graph to the left, security 1.0 is the beige at the bottom, but there's a huge opportunity to actually take clients upstream and sell them what we call security 2.0. And I can tell you that security 1.0 is just not cutting it anymore, and that you really need security 2.0. And as you keep increasing the security to 2.0 to more and more advanced stages, the risks go down and down for a company. So being proactive is more of a centralized management, all kinds of data encryption. And I'm going to introduce you today to a SIM, which is a Security Information Manager, which is a technology that we believe can take any company from protection to detection. Because most of the products out right now, like a firewall, like virus, are really only doing protection. They're not doing detection at all. So I believe the huge opportunity that you can provide to your clients is moving companies from protection to detection and having basically an alarm system if something does happen. So understanding compliances, in order to sell security, you don't have to be an expert in compliances, but you do kind of have to know the basic buzzwords and kind of the key components. But I would imagine if you sat down and talked to your clients, at least 60% of them are going to have some kind of compliance. Just in the United States, 48 of the 50 states all have state laws around personal information and identity protection. So there's state laws, there's fines. In Maryland, there's actually a wall of shame. So if records get out, you can go on the internet and see that company, and nobody wants to be on the wall of shame. We're seeing a huge growth area in HIPAA and high tech, because not only do the covered entities, which are the companies that bill the medical insurance companies, but also the BAs now have to be compliant, which are the business associates, people doing business with the medical offices. They also have to have compliance and security now by law. You have the FINRA and the financial, you have FISMA and the government contracting. So there's somebody told me there's 800 compliances in the world, but right now we kind of primarily focus on about 10. But I could tell you the common thread in every single compliance that I've seen is that you have to have a risk assessment. And that risk assessment needs to be done on an annual basis, so it creates a lot of recurring revenue. And we've come up with a really, really good system for doing risk assessments that really helps, you as the reseller provide these risk assessments to help keep your clients compliant. So how do you sell security and compliance? So, we've been very successful selling security and compliance to our customers. And the reason that we figured out is we're the trusted advisor. A trusted advisor isn't somebody who gives information to clients. A trusted advisor is somebody who really understands their customers' needs and brings to them advice. So we've been very successful selling security and compliance into our existing customer base. As a matter of fact, we have about a 90% success rate into our existing customer base. We've also been very successful, as we said, putting security front and center to get new clients, but we've been super successful in our existing customer base. And I think as a reseller and a trusted advisor, you could also be very successful upselling and selling security and compliance to your customer base. We'll kind of go through the events and triggers that also are good times to sell security. If somebody has a breach or somebody has some kind of a hack or malware, that's a good time to upsell them in security and compliance solutions. A lot of times we'll hear either I'm getting audited or they just had an audit and failed an audit. We just had a reseller that has a bank that called us whose client failed an audit, and it was an opportunity for us to put in a solution. But my favorite place to sell security is kind of what we call bundled or woven. So it's weaving it into the managed services. So as we provide a roadmap for our clients and help them understand how to upgrade their servers or workstations or switches, we're having a conversation about security right then. If you're moving to the cloud, you're talking about security and compliance. So we're kind of weaving it in to our managed service offering, and been very successful doing that as well. Some clients don't have any compliances and are just concerned about security, internal security, external security, and you got to have that conversation about what clients are trying to protect. And sometimes we'll just sell solutions just security only. And then one of the key factors is understanding the compliance. A lot of our clients have multiple compliances, and that's a great time to talk about what compliances do your clients have, and helping them or giving them advice as to how to step up their security to 2.0 by identifying and understanding their needs. And one of the key things to understand with security and compliance is there's no budget. And at first that was a hard concept for me to understand, but the truth is with security and compliance, once a customer understands their risks, there's really no budget. They'll make a budget for security. So we've developed a structured end-to-end solution. What we clearly identified is that with security and compliance to date, we have not seen it anywhere else. There's no structured solution. And our clients several years ago were kind of getting numb by us coming back and go, well, you need web filtering. Well, you need encrypted email. Well, you need encrypted texting. So we kept coming back over a period of time, and customers were kind of getting numb to the fact that, why do you keep coming and trying to upsell me? The way to sell security is providing a structured solution, which we call assess, address, and maintain. It's a 3-step process. and it's working very, very well. So the first step is the assessment. The assessment really has three components. The external penetration test, you're looking how the outside world sees your network. An internal vulnerability scan, understanding the internal network. This is really critical, and we have some newer software that is kind of like having an MRI on a computer system. We could scan the network and see credit card, social security numbers, medical information, driver's license, etc. All this sensitive information can now be scanned, and we can deliver reports showing clients how this information is peppered everywhere. And I can tell you, nobody's really watching. I had a conversation with a company the other day that had credit cards peppered on their servers, workstations, and mobile devices. And we had a conversation with them. They said, we don't keep credit cards at all. And we showed them the reports, and they had thousands of credit cards all over their system. And they're looking at each other going, how could it possibly be? And then they realized that one of their clients has been sending them information, and part of that information has credit cards embedded. And then they started saying, well, they've had that client for 7 years, and before you know it, they had thousands and thousands of credit cards on their system, and nobody knew it. So uncovering the internal vulnerability is huge. And the third thing we have is a questionnaire based on different compliances that helps structure and walk the client through kind of the gap analysis of taking them through a questionnaire about compliance, and it helps them define the gaps and then gives them kind of a roadmap for going forward. So the assessment I can't even emphasize this enough. It is the key to providing security and compliance. At the end of this risk assessment, you want to be able to provide overwhelming evidence that your customer has gaps. And if you can provide overwhelming evidence that your customer has gaps, then you can go to the address phase. I'll come back to this in a second. But the address is providing an executive summary. And that executive summary is going to outline recommendations for moving forward with new projects and labor. So after you do the assessment, you come back with the executive summary, and it's showing them projects of hardware and software to how to button things up and bring the network up to an acceptable risk. And you're going to provide them with a step-by-step plan. So if you look around the horn here, in the dark blue is kind of the security 1.0. It's mostly about spam filtering and patch management and antivirus. But there's a world of opportunities in the security and compliance space to sell high-margin other products like web filtering, data leak protection software, mobile device management, firewall hardening, data encryption at the PC level, at the server level, at the workstation level, depending on what a customer needs, et cetera, et cetera. But at the center of all these solutions is the SIM, and that's the Security Information Event Manager. So I just saw this article last week, but it kind of is something that's kind of very interesting. It says that the real-time SIM solutions help organizations detect attacks within minutes. So again, as we're talking about going from prevention to detection, the key in providing high-level security is being able to detect and attack right away. So let's talk a little bit more about the SIM. The SIM is a Security Information Event Manager, and what it does is it takes in logs from every single device. It takes it in from servers, workstations, switches, firewalls, WAPs, every device in the network that throws off a syslog, we're collecting the logs. And one server can throw up, 100,000 logs a day. So it's overwhelming and it's impossible to see with the naked eye. This is one of the best applications of automation I've ever seen. So it's collecting thousands of logs, and then the system's running rules against these logs. And they're running rules against like HIPAA law rules, FINRA rules, all these different compliance and different security rules are running against the logs. It's looking basically for abnormal behavior, and it's sending out alerts and whittling it down to just a couple of alerts. So it's collecting logs, It's running rules against the logs, looking for abnormal behavior, and it's whittling it down to just a couple of alerts that you'll have a dashboard that you can actually review. The SIM is actually vendor agnostic, so we have over 2,000 objects for just about every firewall you can imagine, every server you can imagine. It's kind of a plug and play. A lot of times the SIM technology, the big Fortune 500 companies have it, very, very expensive, and we've been able to figure out how to put it out affordably and cost effectively that you can roll it out to your clients and make a lot of margin selling security and compliance as a service. So what we offer is we've taken the security event, the SIM product, which is called Event Tracker, and we built an appliance. And that appliance we ship to you, you plug it into your client's network, we start collecting the logs, and it sends those logs up to the cloud. And it's a complete cloud solution that's completely encrypted. And once that happens, we have eyes that are watching these logs 24/7. So now we can watch a network at night, weekends, and you can feel comfortable that your client's networks are being monitored 24/7 at a very affordable price. It's a turnkey solution. It's 24/7 monitoring, and again, I'll show you the numbers, but it's very, very affordable. So after you do the assess and the address, the last piece is the maintain. The maintain is the monthly recurring revenue that you can add on to your existing managed services. So in most cases with existing clients, we're adding a structured security compliance on top of the managed services. For a new client, you can bundle it into your managed services. And in a few cases, we're actually selling managed security as a separate component without selling managed services. The margins are much higher. We have a reseller that I was out with a couple weeks ago, and because they're local, I actually went out them to help them sell their first system. And it was a non-for-profit. We put in the SIM. It was about 6 servers and 25 workstations and 1 firewall. Our cost to them, well, I'll get back into pricing, but they had a triple margin. They were able to mark it up 3 times the bundled security service. We're seeing zero competition. The only competition we're seeing right now is in the automotive market. GM has a product they've bundled. And there's a couple companies out there, like Dell has some products that are about 10 times the price. But in our space, we're seeing almost no competition. And if there is any competition, it's somewhere around 10 times the price right now. So it's a huge opportunity. It's the ground floor. Customers are asking for it. And, you know, I think it's a great way to make money and make your customers happy. So we have 3 programs. We have the authorized program, the Premier, and the Elite. The authorized program is for resellers and MSPs that are busy. I mean, they're really busy, don't have a lot of time to do any R&D, but they might have customers who are asking for security and compliance. In this case, all you have to do is refer the client to us, and we'll do all the heavy lifting. We'll actually set up a webinar. We'll take them through the process. We'll ship them the appliance. We'll configure it. We'll bill them, and they'll pay us, and we'll pay you a 15% commission for as long as they keep the product. Our starting point for a product is $350 a month. Our average client's about $1,000 revenue per month. So you can see these customers can keep these SIMs for 3 to 5 years, and you'll get 15% annuity for doing very little. You know, we'll do the monitoring, do the updates, and we'll just, you know, notify you of a remediation if something needs to be done. And the remediation is all billable as well. So the authorized, we've kind of made it super, super easy for you. You just refer us to business. We'll do the heavy lifting. The Premier is the reseller program. The first is kind of referral. The second is the reseller program, where you private brand it, and we'll give you 25% off list. There is a $2,500 investment for, and I'll explain how that works, but there's a small investment up front, but you get you get an NFR package, you get, you know, a couple of installations for free. But this is the reseller program where we sell it to you, you bill your client. We're kind of in the background. We're still going to do a lot of the heavy lifting, do the 24/7 monitoring, but again, you'll be the face to the client. We'll be in the background. you can bundle in other services, and you can kind of charge whatever you want and make as much money as you want, and we'll work kind of in the background. And the Elite is the 35% off. We have a few clients that actually have their own data centers, and instead of using our cloud and managing it in our cloud, because remember, some of these logs have to be kept up to 7 years because of compliance reasons. That's why we built our own cloud solution. But if you want to have your own cloud solution and bundle it in-house, we give a 35% discount. So that's our 3 programs. The Authorized is kind of the referral, the Premier is reseller, and the Elite is also a reseller as well. For more information, if you're interested in knowing more about the program, you can go to www.choicemssp.com. If you go online, you actually fill out the information. We'll get back to you within 24 hours and walk you through the process. I can tell you that we're having tremendous success in the reseller network. We're seeing a lot of resellers that are starting to sell this product, implement it to their clients, making huge margins. They're very, very happy with the program. We're also, as an MSP, we understand what you're going through. We understand your business. We want you to be super happy with it. And by us being able to sell this locally is really, we're learning more and more. So the more we can learn in our existing customer base, the more we can parlay that and help you as resellers to get better and better at the program.